it's Nikki Dora, Dame Mediation again. So, today I wanted to talk about a little bit more about your auric field, about focusing on astral projection or travelling. Most people call it projection, which is probably more an accurate thing. I've been hearing people talk about kind of like astral planes, getting a bit confused, so I thought I'd add some clarification on it. Now, I have done one video on your seeing auras. This is a little bit more, and I will still try and do a little bit more when people ask me questions. I'm quite happy to answer those. So, I'm talking with my hands again today. So, astral travelling or projection. Now, I've talked before about your auric field being made of 7 layers. So, your 7 main chakras or energy centres. Because they're energy centres, some people call them chakras. It's exactly the same thing. They're the points that connect your physical body with your aura, your subtle bodies, which is your auric field. So all 7 make up your auric field, and they are energetic versions of ourselves. Okay. So I'm trying to remember what I've already put in the video. So you start from the root chakra, which is connected to your physical subtle body. And then you have your solar plexus, which is connected to your emotional subtle body. And then you have your your sacral, which is connected to your emotional subtle body. And then your solar plexus is connected to your mental subtle body. And then you go to your heart, which is connected to the astral subtle body. Now the reason why, so those are the physical ones, more connected to your physical experience. Bear in mind there's 2 parts of us, that's why you have the physical and the kind of the spiritual energetic chakras. And the reason why I say spiritual and energetic together is because some people struggle with with the word spiritual, because sometimes it means a lot to a lot of different people, but it's also kind of energetic. So I kind of use both, so hopefully that you can pick which one you want to use. But it's not physical. Okay, so those ones after your heart chakra, which is a mixture of both, then go up to your throat, your third eye, and your crown. Now, those ones are your celestial body, which is sometimes called your spiritual subtle body, your causal spiritual body, and I'm trying to remember the etheric one. Now, so those ones are those. So the heart meets you in the middle, because it kind of is a combination of both. Now, as I was saying probably previously, your heart connects to your soul. So your soul is part of you. It's the building blocks, and your body's kind of built around it. But your soul sits behind your heart. If you ever ask to speak to your soul, listen to where it says. If you say, "Where are you?" you'll feel it. It'll be behind. So that's why your heart is the voice of your soul. Doesn't mean every other part isn't you connected, but your heart center is more directly. It's the voice box of your soul. Now, maybe if you want to know more about that, let me know, and I will go into boring detail on it. But yeah, it sits behind. Now that joins. So your heart chakra joins to your astral body. Now the reason why people travel using or project using your astral body is that it is easier. It's the easiest body to go astral travelling in, because it is the mixture, which means that it is at a certain vibration, lightness, and I talk about that in light versus density, so less dense. And whereas the bottom ones, it would be harder, because it's meant to be connected to your physical experience. They aren't as easy to manoeuvre. And 2, it is connected to you, it's tethered to you. So it's a bit like a kite. It means that you can reel it back in quite easily. And if you didn't have that, it could go off, and you might find it, you might not. Now, video is not about trying to scare people or anything. That's why by default you use the astral, and also it's easier for people to go into the astral being part physical. Now, I don't recommend that you, unless you're used to astral travelling using your subtle bodies, which is probably a better way of saying it, then you try and go on other ones, because there is a danger that you could get lost. It's a bit like, what's the paranormal movie with Rose O'Brien? She and the woman starts talking about their boy has been lost because he couldn't find his way back, and that would be because you are using a different subtle body. So sometimes movies have a kernel of truth in it. But it does mean you can go further. You can, because you're not tethered to the physical. But it also means that you could, if you're not used to it, you could lose yourself. It's very rare, so I wouldn't want to stop people from practicing it, but just know what you're doing. Like anything, know what you're doing and still explore. And have your guides as backup and all of those type of things. So that's why people use the astral body, because you can find your way back. It's like the breadcrumbs in the what story is that? Anyway, in one of the fairy tales, you're tethered, so you're not ever going to get fully separated from your body, because you can always find your way back. And that's why often when you're astral traveling, if someone say calls your name, or like anything, not just astral traveling, but if you're doing say physical mediumship and people keep using your name, it's the quickest thing that brings you back in your body. And when you've come back really quickly, it hurts. It actually feels like you've been stabbed. It's actually quite painful. And the same, that's why the reason why if you're in a physical circle, they say don't break the circle, because that can bring you back into your body. Don't break the circle without, until the medium's back. And also don't call their names, because it can bring them back so quickly. It literally slam back into yourself, and it's really painful. Like all things like this, I have tried all. They've gone, oh no, don't do that, and I've done it anyway because I want to know. And it really did hurt. It did feel like I'd been stabbed. Not that I'd been stabbed, but I imagine that's how it feels like. So it is very painful if you have to come back very quickly. So you can often find if you're travelling and then all of a sudden, say you wake up or something, or you come back to consciousness really quickly, it can be a little bit painful. So just make sure that you're quite gentle with yourself. So just really wanted to say that. Now when we're talking about the astral plane, and realm, sometimes people confuse the way they're travelling, the vehicle they're travelling in, which is the subtle body, the astral subtle body, for the plane and the realm, which are pretty much the same thing. That's what I assume people are talking about. Now, doesn't mean that you couldn't. Most people will meet, because one will be in their astral body and one will be in their astral body, so they can meet on that. So I think when they're talking about the astral plane, what they're actually saying is they're both meeting at that at that vibration and that kind of density as an energetic meeting, because they're using the astral body so they can connect in that way. I might have to kind of delve in a little bit more. It's not a question I've really asked before, but I'll go to my guides and find out what interesting things they say about it. So that's really why we travel with the astral body. And that's why if we're working with it, because we're essentially putting part of our consciousness in it, and then we're kind of going off. And even if you're doing physical mediumship or anything that's kind of where you're going to an altered state, it's very easy to kind of go off. Because even when you're daydreaming, you can start wandering off out of your kind of physical body. It's a lot more exciting often there. So you'll find that kids will kind of, like when they're daydreaming, and they don't look like they're there. Sleepwalking also can be the fact that they've unintentionally astral projected and they're off somewhere. So be gentle. That's why you're not meant to. I know they talk about not waking sleepwalkers up, but actually from a spiritual energetic perspective, you want to be very gentle when you do that, because it obviously will slam back into their body. But that's perhaps another conversation. So hopefully that has helped you understand a little bit more about kind of astral projection and a bit more about the subtle bodies. Any questions, just let me know. Have a good day.